So I just wanted to ask about, obviously, Imperium that was set up during the NXT tapings, NXT UK, with yourself, Fabian Eichner, Marcel Bartel, and Alexander Wolf of SmackDown. Was that something including Wolf that came from you guys, or was that a company sort of director that said he's going to be in?
It was something we liked, the idea we liked, but it came together very quick. So
Okay.
I think it would have been something that would have happened going forward, but at that moment it was decisions were made very quick.
Okay. And sort of another question, do you see yourself moving over to NXT in the US or the main roster, or is sort of consolidating NXT UK as more of a third and fourth brand than a developmental your goal?
It's going to be step by step, I guess. So I just arrived, so I need to get work done first and then see. So I don't think that much ahead. Just I focus on what I do now, and then if I do good, things will be fine.
Great, thank you very much.
Have you brought the UK title with you today out of interest?
Yeah.
So are we going to get another shot like the one of you backstage after you won the Progress title with the 3 belts over you, but instead this time it'll be 2 Progress titles and a UK title?
If I win, there will be one for sure.
Last time we spoke, you said that there'd been conversations with WWE, but there was nothing definitely in the pipeline. 2 months later, you were debuting. So just tell us about that process, how that came about.
I mean, I obviously lied to you back
Yeah,
then.
you know, and it hurts.
So, yeah, like nothing spectacular. It's like somebody's interested in you, so they talk to you, then you just work things out that are important for yourself, and then you come together at some point. So, and out of everybody I talked to, that seemed to be the right thing for me at the moment, and I don't regret it by now. So, all good.
Okay, Liam, Pro Wrestling Journal. Considering how global you've kind of become, how important do you think it is to stay true to your roots in your wrestling style and wrestling, I guess, ethos?
I always did it. Like everywhere I went, I did the same. I did, let's say, in Germany 4 years ago, 5 years. Obviously, I hope I got better in what I did, but the philosophy behind it is still the same. And it didn't matter where, like even was PWG or something like that, I didn't change myself. So I don't plan changing that.
Do you? Is there anything about the Progress or Wrestling for Progress audience that you find different or interesting or kind of worth noting?
When I came first, it was they were very interactive than usually. By now, a lot of crowds in England are like that. I would think. I appreciate that. I just don't like sometimes when they get caught up for their own stuff. It's like when they put themselves in the center, because that might be fun for the group of 10 who does it, but for everybody else it might be a little bit annoying because they want to enjoy the show. So that's maybe the counterpart of that. But in general, I appreciate the Progress fans because it's very responsive, and yeah, it's a good time.
Thank you.
Ryan, Sport Bible. Super Strong Style 16 is, or the weekend especially, is something that your original stint in Progress, when you didn't have your iconic music. In fact, Jack Gallagher had it, and then obviously last year giving up the Atlas title. So what does it mean to you to come back to Super Strong Style a year later and both titles are on the line?
It's also like when I came first, I didn't have the cool music. I had something else, so that was the reason. And I actually stole it from Tim Thatcher, who had a different version, but we just took it for the whole group. Yeah, I think I would have loved to challenge Travis as the Atlas champion when I won the belt, actually. So, but I had to give it away to go that way. So I'm going full circle today. So should be good.
Is that something you like, that you've been able to kind of go full circle and tie up the ends of the?
It brings it back. Like at some point with the Atlas belt, it's cool to have a heavyweight belt, but I always saw the issue that sometimes heavyweight matches tend to be not as spectacular as a bigger man versus a smaller man, which is the matchup I prefer most. So it's a difficult task to be the champion in that kind of division, if you want to call it like that. So it put me in a lot of difficult situations that I gained experience from. And it helps me with everything I did after. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be I'm gonna aim for full circle now and represent both going forward.
Brilliant. Do you feel like your style brings something to modern wrestling that it was missing?
What do you mean? One more time.
Like it's your style. Do you think it's something that was missing from modern wrestling?
Yeah, sense. Because sometimes people nowadays, I think nowadays sounds very oldish, but I think it doesn't matter what. I think William Regal put out a day or two ago, so it's on Twitter, and he said, doesn't matter what you do, style-wise, just put a sense and a meaning behind it, and that's something I take, like I'm focused on. I don't like to just do stuff for the sake of doing it. So I think that's something I want to stand out in my matches, and I think that's something that's not done enough at the current times.
Thank you.
John from WrestleLine, how do you rate your opponent, Trent Seven, today?
The thing is with Ben, Trent, of course. We don't call us with gimmick names. He was in a, like I said, I never saw him having any big success as a singles competitor, and I was even more surprised that he won the Atlas Championship, and he's in the same difficult position I just described, and he mastered it very well to this point, and I think he did a great job, and I think it's going to be a very good contest today that everybody's going to enjoy, hopefully.
Okay.
So I know I think when Trent steps in the ring, he wants to leave it all out there, and yeah, so we're going to have a good one tonight.
Will Gavin, TalkSport. How important has Progress been in that kind of 18-month rise that you've had as a company in your personal development over that time?
I don't know. I wouldn't think anybody, like when it comes to personal, like in a professional way, it was a part. But it's hard to point like that was important for that reason, and that company was important for that reason. Every company as a wrestler you work for, it's a different task because audiences are different, or it's always different circumstances. But Progress was actually one of the easier ones because the fans were very responsive, and the travel for me was very easy because they're a very short flight compared to going to America and do indies there, which is a complete different thing than here. So Progress was definitely the company who opened the door for me into the English market. It's like the first company I stepped into and figured out how things work here.
You said you like the big man, small man matches. I think the best example of that is probably you and Tyler at Wembley. Tell us a bit about the build up to that, how you felt that came off, how kind of you felt of the whole event and working on that match.
It might be my favorite match of last year, and maybe even the one I had so far, because when I do matches I always want to have a mix of drama and competition, and that kind of felt that way. And even like rewatching it, it felt like a dramatic sports contest, and it's like I said, that's what I want to achieve. And Tyler is a great talent, maybe 1 out of a million, and he's still so young, it's crazy. I'm 10 years older than Tyler, I think, or 9 years. So he's gonna be a big superstar at some point. I'm just in my last few good years. No, so
It's not fair, is it? It's just
yeah, this is a very good example of how I think that dynamic, the bigger guy versus the smaller guy, is always the best mix in a wrestling match. Because that's a typical story we all get. Like Rocky always fought more wrestlers, like he didn't wrestle, he fought his friend first, but then he had to fight the big Russian. It's like, oh my god, he's a monster, how can I beat him? It's like the story we all got, the David versus Goliath story. It's like we have that in us, and people want to see the struggle. It's like I think there's nothing more, you will never feel more connected to a person that you can really see who goes through a real tough time and really struggles, but still gives it all and then finally succeeds. That's I don't know, I think it's simple, but it's still the best story you can tell.
So on that topic, you spoke about the David and Goliath story. WWE has a tendency to struggle booking heavyweights and big men. Was that sort of a worry for you coming into NXT that you wouldn't be able to have those David and Goliath matches, and they put you in the traditional matches that we've seen from heavyweights, and that would limit your sort of what you wanted to do?
No, I don't think that. I also don't think that's right. I get way more protected now than on the indie scene, because on the indie scene there would be way less than it is now when it comes to protect somebody because he's a bigger guy. I had to do it myself because, and also I think the indies are it's a way more selfish business than it is in WWE or any big company, because if you work for a company, you make your money. But on the indies, you gotta sell merchandise and do all that. But if you just dedicate one match to make the other guy on the other side look good, they're gonna buy his shirts and not yours. So that automatically drives indie wrestling into a more selfish contest, I think. Not even like out of a bad position, but just the matter of how it's structured. So I don't really believe. Also, you can just go at certain points. Like it's also not in WWE that every step is gonna be told what you have to do. It's like you're still your own person. You make your own decisions. They just try to make things work for everybody.
And so Jordan Devlin faced Finn Balor at the first NXT UK takeover event.
Yeah.
If you got to choose one main roster star to have a match with a second takeover event, who would it be and why?
I don't know. I think it's a draw. It's either Claudio or Bryan Danielson, I think.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Sorry.
Just saying, I just really want to see that.
Again, you talked about David versus Goliath, and a man you can't get away from is David Starr. So, what would you think about facing David Starr for the title if he obviously, if you were successful today and he was successful tomorrow?
I don't know, man. I'm getting tired of facing him, actually. So many times now. Yeah. Sometimes David doesn't succeed, right? It even fits the name, right? So, no, I always had good contests with David Starr, for sure. But I don't know, at the moment he seems to be a little bit frustrated and out of his mind. I don't know what happened, so you better ask him. So yeah, but if it occurs that I have to face him, if that's the next defense, then I'm just gonna do it like I did 25 times before. So
Time for one more.
Can I ask one more question? That's right. I'm interested in what your thoughts are on Lucky Kid, because Lucky Kid obviously is probably he's kind of blowing up in terms of the next big sort of star from Germany, and he's coming over here. Just your thoughts. Obviously, you thought him at 16 carat as well in the final. Just what do you think about him as a next star? I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big supporter of Lucky Kid. He's doing a lot of right things, puts in a lot of effort, and that pays off for him at the moment. And yeah, I think when I did my first run in England, that opened the door that direction a little bit, and Ilya stepped through, and Lucky for sure was the next person. And yeah, he's very talented and has the heart at the right place, which is important, I think. And he will be fine, yeah.
Thank you.
I think so.